Right, there we are on. Right, just scroll down there. Right, coolio, we are on. So, as you can see, I've got a bloody... The webcam goes the wrong way, doesn't it? When I point that way, I'm actually thinking I'm pointing that way, but I'm not. Anyway, so, yeah, let me stand over here. I've got a new little thing up here. I wonder if anyone can guess what that means. Well, basically, no one will be able to guess what it means, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, what it means, indeed, is what it says. Silence is golden. But what it means in relation to Thursday Talks is, you know, I go off on real big rants, and then I completely forget where I am, or, you know, I just, like, rant and just, like, go off onto other tangents and things like that. Well, what I thought would be a good way of kind of getting me off that, if I do look at the chat, this is specific to if I do look at the chat, but if I'm going off like crazy on rants and stuff, if everyone puts in the chat those words, silence is golden, or is it silence? Oh, no, it's silence is golden, isn't it? Yeah. So, if everyone puts that in the chat, whether it's in caps or just normal, you know, lowercase, then I'll see everyone putting silence is golden, and then I'll think, oh right, I need to look at people's comments in the chat now, because I'm just incessantly rambling about random stuff. Whereas, in the past, only a few people have like put, oh, you're rambling again or something. So this way, it makes it completely clear. And you know me, I have to have people spell it out to me. So, yeah, this way, people can spell it out to me, clear as day, and I know when I need to shut up and look at people's questions in the chat or move on from the topic I'm currently on. So, yeah, silence is golden. So, yeah, I like that being up there. I don't know why, I just like the uniformity of it. It's just slightly, I don't know, maybe I've got some OCD or something, but it's just slightly on an angle, and it's a nice colour, and it contrasts well with the background. I just love it. I just love that being up there. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to end up standing in front of it or something. So we've got a few people in the chat. We've got, hey, it seems like there's not as many people in the chat today. What's going on? Is it, it's only the 10th of January, isn't it? It's not like it's an odd day or something. There's not something going on like another live chat, is there? I don't know. But it just seems like there's very few people in the chat today. We've got Jay and Callum, we've got Gemma Lou, we've got Z. Oh, Z's just popped in. We've got Dr. Doodle Doo, and we've got Southwest Soul. So hi everyone. So Jay and Callum first put in the chat, hi, looking forward to catching a live. Oh, so you are around, are you then, Jay? Because sometimes you have to go, don't you, because of timings and stuff. But yeah, it'd be nice to have you in the chat. Also, I did see Profits from Home. Marcus was in the chat earlier on. I did schedule this event like last night because I don't know. I just thought, oh, that was why. I thought I would forget the topic. Yeah, don't let me forget the topic today because it's a good one today. I've got a good topic for you today, and I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's a very good topic. It's something that I developed. Well, I can't really say I developed it myself because I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. But it's something that I've always used, and although I can't quite, oh, what's the word? I can't quite remember. I can't believe I forgot the word remember. That is terrible, even for my standards. But I literally forgot I forgot the word remember. That is so ironic. But yeah, so oh, what was I gonna say now? Yeah, so oh God, I just go blank. But yeah, so I can't remember whether it was I've seen it somewhere and I've kind of adopted it as my own technique, or I've kind of changed it to suit my own needs, or whether I actually did develop this technique. But it's one of the two, so I'm not going to say it's completely my technique, because I'm sure there's some influence from some other source somewhere involved, even if I have developed it somewhat. But yeah, so it is a motivation technique I use, which is called the 3 R's, which is robot, reboot, and recycle. Now, you can Google it if you want to see, so that then you can tell me if someone else has developed it. You know, someone can Google it now if you want. So it's just robot, reboot, recycle. But I don't know. Maybe someone else has developed it. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It was that long ago. But basically, what I used to do is I used to basically snap out of being human. Now that sounds really weird, but when I've got a repetitive task, I remember doing it when I was at work experience. I was doing a lot of filing, and I was doing envelopes in, not envelopes, putting letters in envelopes for loads of them, like hundreds and hundreds of them. And this works really well for a repetitive task, because when you've got a repetitive task, having the human emotions and having this, you know, feeling like oh, you know, this is very boring, this is very mundane, it kind of stops you from doing the task maybe as effectively as you can, but more so just for as long as you can. And this is kind of what I kind of adopt a little bit more when I'm doing my steps and things like that. When I was doing the steps challenge last year, whenever I've got a repetitive task, whatever it may be. So you snap out of being human, you get rid of your emotions. And I know that sounds really weird, because it's like you can't get rid of your emotions. What I mean is you kind of lessen your emotions, right? So you just like put your emotions on the back burner a little bit. So you can, you know, you can do that. You can kind of slide your emotions to the back of your mind when you don't need them so much. Like if you're just doing a repetitive task, there's no need to fall in love with someone, is there? You can kind of just, you can push them to the back of your mind a little bit for that moment. So that's what I mean when I say get rid of my emotions. And I do that, and then I just do the task, and I just like, just focus. It's almost like, you could say like meditation comes into it a little bit, but it's not quite that, you know, it's just robot, reboot, recycle, you know. So I do that, and then I'll just get through the items, and then I'll be like, yeah, I'm getting through these are cool. And then what I do is every like, you know, I don't know, every quarter. So if I'm like a quarter of the way through the task, I'm like, right, I'm a quarter of the way through the task now. Right, I'm halfway through the task now. Right, I'm 75% way through the task now. And you're like doing it like you're a robot. Like, I'm 75% there, I'm 76% there, I'm 77% there. You know, you're acting like a robot would when we've got loads of, you know, on a conveyor belt, when we've got loads of different things, like 1,000 cans that we need to put the label round. They're like, right, I've done 776, so I'm 77.6% of the way there or whatever. That's kind of like how I work it. Then what you do after you've done the task is you reboot. So you reboot your emotions, you reboot them, you're back to being a human again, you can have a break, you feel happy, right? You've done the task. And then you recycle the method for whenever you need to use it again. So it's quite cool actually. Like, you can just do this for whenever really. All the better for seeing you, my dear Lex. What the hell's going on in there? All I can see is people like chatting. Right, where are we? I'm just having a look at the chat. A lot of people are flooding in now. No rambling, not a chance. No, well, you know me, I've always got to do a bit of rambling. What if we like the rants? Well, you know, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to rant or I'm not going to ramble, but like, just when I'm getting too crazy, if everyone just puts that in the chat, it's just like nice and easy to, you know, to basically just continue on the conversation. You're not like, I'm not having to ramble and ramble and ramble for ages, and because I know some people like it and then some people don't like it and all the rest of it. So it's a hard balancing act, but you know, you just gotta do a bit of give and take. I'm gonna ramble. I'm gonna end up rambling, but when I look at the chat, I know that if most people have put that in there, then, you know, it means that I can move on and then we can get on to other conversation as well. But anyway, that is the motivation technique that I use. Feel free in the chat, put your thoughts on it in the chat. Do you use something similar? Is this a very well-known motivation technique that I have not even realised it's a well-known motivation technique? But yeah, it's something that I like to use. When I was working at the auction house, I used it when I was going up and down the stairs to bring the locks up and down. I don't know, I was wondering, because I wanted to talk about this on Thursday Talks, because I don't think I've talked about it before. But now I'm talking about it, I'm thinking, hang on, have I actually covered this in a video like ages ago, and I've just forgotten? But I really wanted to cover it, because even if I have covered it before, I like covering this, because it's a cool little motivation technique, and I think people can get some value out of it. Because if you're doing listings, like this is perfect for like listings or something like that, just doing getting with it, you know, putting your emotions to the side, focusing on the task, really like knuckling down like that. But the thing it works best with, I've found, is physical tasks. So maybe not so much listing, but when you're like carting stock around, like, you know, let's say you've got a lockup, or let's say you've got an office space or whatever, and you need to bring that stock back to your house, but you need, you know, you need to bring like 10 boxes back or something, or 20 boxes back. You know, you're carting the boxes back and two, you're lifting them, you're doing a lot of mundane kind of physical labour, and it does work good for that, just like kind of like dulling your face and dulling your mind, essentially, like while you're doing it, and you just essentially you're just acting like a robot while you do it. But yeah, so I'll go back in the chat in a sec and we'll see who else has popped in. Richard Payne's in there as well, I can just see now. We've got, who else have we got? Mark in there. We've got Andy Robinson, UK Bay. I don't know whether I've seen you before in the chat, so welcome. As far as then, good afternoon, people. What sells stuff? Right, who else have we got? We have to type silence is gold in the chat constantly no, not constantly. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Just every now and then, you know, if I'm getting off on one, you know, if I'm getting off on... Yeah, but actually, no, you're kind of right, because all the time I'm going off on one, aren't I? So, yeah, we'll see how it works out, but I'm going to keep it up there anyway, because I like it. That's going to be like a little... You know what I'll do? I'll keep it up there for so long. Oh, it's the other way again, isn't it? I'm pointing that way, and it's that way. I'm going to keep that up there for so long, right, for like another 100 episodes, and then the new people who join on, they'll be like, they won't have a clue why that's up there, but all the people on this first episode, like, you know, the OGs of the channel, they'll all, like, know why it's up there, and it'll be like a little Easter egg to Thursday Talk. So, yeah, I'm just going to do that. I like doing things like that. It's funny. Right, so, where are we now in the chat? Question, what if my robot mode starts to develop self-awareness and tries to take over the world again? No, oh, for God's sake, it's not a real robot. You know that. Come on, it's not a real robot. It's just, you know, a robot consciousness inside yourself, or a blank... It's like a blank consciousness inside yourself. That's what it's not really a robot. I just call it a robot because it's like, it feels like that in one respect. But it's just this, like, you go into this state of blank consciousness where you're not necessarily like thinking too much, you just job, you know. I mean, it's like mindfulness, essentially. That's kind of what it is, like mindfulness, but just, I call it I suppose I'm just calling mindfulness a different thing, really, aren't I? That's pretty much what I'm doing. But yeah, so I've loved using it. I think I've used it for, I'd say 6 or 7 years now when I started using it properly. It works great for the steps. Doing the steps, it works great with, like, just... Because steps are very, very... Like, one step to another, to another, to another, to another. That's very repetitive. That's, like, one of the most repetitive things you can do, walking. So, when you're doing that, it really does... It's really good for that. You know, you can just walk, like, crazy long distances, you know, and you just... like zoned out a little bit, you know, you're just walking. It's like when you go in a car and then you forget you forget how you'd completely got to your destination because you've just been so in the zone, you know, you've been so focused. Yeah, that's a good example, right? So everyone uses robot reboot recycle when they're in cars most of the time. If you're a very comfortable driver, you'll know that when you get in a car and you're driving wherever, you get in that zone of just, you know, you're focused on the destination, and you kind of, when you get to your destination, you don't remember the entire journey, but you know you've got there, you know that you've managed to navigate roads and get there safely. So it's kind of this feeling of just like a blankness, you know, but you know you've done the task at hand, you know you've done it, you've zoned out, essentially. So so yeah, I suppose in one respect it is like mindfulness, but in that respect of zoning out, it's not completely like mindfulness, because mindfulness is more bringing your mind back to the focus on the activity at play or at hand. So yeah, I suppose in one way it's like mindfulness, but in another way it isn't. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll need to know this. These getting robots in factories in years to come, more job. I know, yeah, the robot thing. Oh my god, yeah. Everyone's been talking about that. You know, in the last few years, everyone's been talking about the robot thing and all the job losses and all that sort of stuff. I think, you know, I just think these things have a tendency to work themselves out anyway. You know, like they'll end up being. It'll either come in so slowly that new jobs will end up forming anyway as a result of the robots or a result of something else. And it'll kind of level itself out. I don't think it'll be as bad as most people think. But you never know. It might be. You never know. But these things do always have a tendency to, like, just flatten themselves out and kind of work through it in a good way. You know, it works out in an okay way in the end. Yeah, sometimes I don't remember the journey, but that's because I'm paying attention to other things my way. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the radio for. Yeah, I would say that's yeah, you could pay attention to your thoughts over radio, and yeah, because I did that the other day when I was just like literally just, you know, I don't know. Actually, I don't even know, because I was paying attention to what was on the radio and stuff, but I was kind of. It sounds weird, but I was kind of like inside my own mind. I know I'm always inside my own mind, but you know, I don't know whether people understand that. But I was like focused. I was like zoned in my own mind kind of thing. And although the radio was on and stuff, I wasn't necessarily taking that in loads. It was more the fact I was just inside my own mind. It's a weird feeling. I suppose other people will get it, but. Anyway, we'll have some reselling questions in the chat now, because I've done my little piece that I wanted to do on the topic. It was just a small little piece. I wanted just to bring that up. It's quite interesting. And whether people want to use it for, or whether you already use it unknowingly maybe, for listing or for mundane tasks, you know, physical tasks in reselling or whatever, go for it, have a go with it. But it's one of those things really that I suppose you don't really know you're doing until... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's one of those things that you can actually try to do. It's kind of like a natural progression. Like, you just slip into it naturally. It's not necessarily like, I'm going to turn into a robot now. It's not like that. It's more like it just you naturally slip into it as you're doing the task, you know? And some people that might already happen for. Other people, it might not happen for. They might be very, you know, a person who's quite... you know, they procrastinate a lot, or they can't fully immerse themselves in the task, or they can't, you know, just switch off from that level of emotion or whatever, and they can't, like, focus on that task completely without the need for all this, you know, background noise, let's say. But yeah, it's quite interesting. You best not be sitting down. I'm not... Why? Who says that? You mean to me, Rachel? I'm not sitting down. I'm not sitting down. What? How can you not tell I'm standing up? I'm not sitting down. I'm assuming you're talking to someone else then, because I'm not sat down. I'm not like I'm stood up. I would like, well, actually, no, I can't. I'm not. Oh God, I'm not that bendy. No, I'm trying to get my foot up, but to show you I'm not sat down. But actually, how would that work? Would that make you think I was sat down? I don't know. Would that make you think I was stood up? Yeah, that would, wouldn't it? Right, I'm gonna try it. God damn it. No, I can't do it. I can't. I'm not that bendy. I'm not that bendy. I'll fall over. Oh no. Oh, God, so hard. So hard. Damn my inability to balance. Right. Hi everyone. I was just about to cook my dinner. I blinked and have ended up here. I blame ads. Well, you know, I set up the event, so yeah. So it's not lack of consciousness, more selective attention. Yeah, like it's like, yeah, it's like selective attention, what is it, selective attention, yeah, so like, what I was explaining for, I don't know whether you were in the chat before, but I was explaining, like, in the example of, when I was doing work experience, like, years ago, I was putting letters into envelopes, and there was, like, tons of them, and then I was just like, right, this is going to be very boring, this is going to be very mundane, so I'm just going to switch off, like, my mind is just going to switch off, and I'm just going to do the task, I'm just going to completely focus on the task, like, right, boom, boom, and then when I get to, like, 25% the way through, I'll think to myself, right, I'm 25% of the way through, and then I'll be like, right, keep going, and it's just this, like, mundane action of, you're basically just doing, it's just about doing, like, you're not focused at all on like braking. You're not focused at all on like anything other than the task. You're like dedicating like 100% of your mental power to the task, almost becoming a robot in the process, because you're not looking at your emotion, you're not looking at your thoughts, you're not looking about, you're not thinking about anything other than like boom, 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 boom. And then you end up getting the task done quicker. You end up feeling at the end of it a lot more productive, because you think, right, I've done this, you know, I've done this task in a good amount of time, you know, and I feel happy that I've done, you know, as much as I've done. So it's interesting, yeah. It was your inner robot. Lol, PCP. Right, where are we in the chat? We're not too bad. I think I'm pretty much caught up. Skynet 1 is East Midlands to Belfast. Skynet 4. Skynet 1. What is Skynet? What actually is that? I don't even know what it is. I know it's something to do with. Is it not off like iRobot? So is it not off a movie? I'm pretty sure it's off a movie, isn't it? Skynet. I don't know. It's something to do with the future, though, isn't it? It's something to do with the future and like robots and stuff like that. I've heard of it, but I'm pretty sure it's off a movie. I don't know. Yeah, that looks like all the questions for now. Oh, wait. Z says, I forgot to answer this question earlier on. Is there any danger of permanently getting stuck in robot mode? No, there is not any danger of permanently getting stuck in robot mode. You can just snap out of it, you know. You're just like, oh God, snap out of it. Makes me feel like I've hypnotized myself then, but like you can just snap out of it, you know. It's like boom, and then you're like, it's not a real, you know. It's like it is, like I just said, it's kind of like hypnosis, but on a very low form of it, you know, in terms of just slightly suggesting that you do this this intently for X amount of time until it's done. And then when it's done, you kind of automatically just go back to being completely out of robot mode because the task is done. You're still present, you're still aware, you're still a human at the end of the day. I'm not saying you like weirdly become a robot. I'm just saying you adopt more of the traits that a robot would have. So not taking breaks, you know, doing the most efficient work you can, you know, in terms of being like processing things at the perfect speed that can allow you to keep going and have good pace, but not, you know, not burn out and all the rest of it. So it's just like you're adopting the traits of a robot and just filtering out a little bit of that humanity for a while because it's, you know, inefficient and, no, I don't want to do that. You know, it's like, as humans, we're very inefficient. So if you can just, like, tune in that robot mind for a little bit of your work and become more efficient in the process and then go back to being human, it's like, you know, it's starting to sound like this weird thing where you have, like, a little chip implanted in your brain and or like, back of your neck, and they're like switching it on and off and stuff. It's getting really weird now, so I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Let's move on to another topic, because this is getting like into some weird dystopian future kind of stuff now. Oh God, it's funny. South London Research says, hi ads, hi chat, can't stay, about to teach animation. Wow, that's cool. Persistence of vision today and 360 character turns. What was I going to say? I was going to say, I was watching a couple of videos like about animation, not necessarily really in-depth videos or anything, but I was watching a couple of videos about animation, and it seems like it's a very, very time-consuming process, like all the different things you have to do, you know, and I was watching, there was a little bit of a history of animation and stuff in it as well, and it was like, back years ago, they had to hand draw all the little, I mean, I don't know whether it was all the frames, or whether it was, well, I assume it must be all the frames, mustn't it? Like, you've got, like, you know, a single frame, and you have to draw all the different frames, and then it puts it together, which I kind of knew for, like, stop-motion animation, obviously, like, you know, like Wallace and Gromit and that, where they have to do like the models, and we do like tiny fractional little movements and then click the camera and do a frame and all that. that takes forever as well. But it was quite amazing that like years ago they had to draw all of the different frames to make the animation. That must have took forever, but I think these days they do a lot of it on computer. I'm not sure. Obviously, you'll know a lot better than me, but yeah, it was interesting. That was really interesting because I've always wanted. And I know I say this, but I just want to do, and I've told you this before. I just want to do so much stuff that I can't fit it all in. Like I'd love to do my own animations, but I know how long it's going to take. You know, I'd love to get on here, like on not on Thursday Talks, but on like on a video of mine, like a little animated Adam that walks in and talks and stuff. Now, yeah, okay, I could commission someone to do that and pay them however much it would cost. But I don't like that. I like it coming from me. I want to know that if the little, like, for example, I flip back onto me now. If my little animated Adam pops up here, I want to know that I've created that, you know, because it feels a lot more personal to me. Like, the reason I did the songs on my own and took a lot of effort and time in doing that was because, you know, I wanted to do them myself. I don't want, even though they aren't as good as they could be if I employed someone else to do them. That to me would rip the soul out of them because they don't come from completely my vision. They maybe come from my vision, but they don't completely come from me because I've not been immersed in the entire experience, you know? It's why I'd be very, very terrible at working on a TV show, because I'd want to control everything. I'd want to do the directing, the producing, the editing, everything, because I like being a one-man band. I've always been like that. I hated being in school with, like, when we got paired up in groups. I've talked about this before. I just do not like teamwork. I just do not like it. I don't like it. I always take control, and I'm always like, this is how we're going to do it, because we will win this class assignment, or we will win this, you know, if we do it my way, because I know that. I'm self-assured in that. I don't have any self-doubt. Yeah, that's right. I don't have any self-doubt in that, you know. So I just and that's annoying. That's a hindrance. It's a good trait in one respect, because it's like, well, you're gonna do things on your own, and you're gonna get to an incredible level on your own in what you can do. But also, it's a hindrance because the amount of pressure that puts on myself, or the amount of things that I now feel I need to do in life is incredible. You know, it's an incredibly long list, and it's just too much. And then what happens is you get down, or you get frustrated, or you get annoyed because you've set yourself up for a far too big task. You know, so it's something I want to work on in terms of just releasing a little bit of that control and. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having, like I said, I don't like working in groups and stuff, but I don't think I would be, I don't think I would mind too much, like, having a partner, like, having a creative partner. So I do mainly the writing, and I do a few bits of the editing, or a few bits of the, you know, like, the Photoshop work, or whatever it may be, and then they do the more creative side. So, you know, they do, like, the bulk of the editing work that they can bring more to the table than I can. But I feel I'd probably be better at doing the kind of the filming of it and the writing of it. Like, they're the two things, the acting and the filming, despite me not being a good actor at all, really, but I can get better. But they're the two things I think I would bring to the table more, and the other person can bring to the table the actual putting it together, because my production values, that's where I fall flat. I can do the writing okay, I can get better at the acting, but the production values I'm not good at, because guess what? I cut corners all the time. In the comedy shorts or the Christmas specials or whatever, I cut corners all the time. Those songs could have been way better than they were because I was cutting corners. I didn't spend as much time editing as I possibly could, and therefore you get a product that is slightly inferior to where it could have been. And that is generally just because my personality is one of wanting to get that finished product out, you know? Not one of being in the moment and thinking, right, how can I get the best finished product out? And someone who is a creative partner who is more that way inclined of how can I get the best product out with my kind of anxious ambition to, you know, to do the acting or to do the writing and get the writing done and get that all finished. you know, those pairings would work quite well, because I could get the writing done quick, I could get the filming done fairly quick, and then obviously they could go, it could go then into the editing suite. They could spend as much time as they want on it, get it looking really, really good, and then obviously it then goes out. And I know obviously there is a little bit of a falsehood in that, because if I'm doing the filming quite quickly, I'm maybe not getting the best angles, or I'm not getting the best lighting and stuff. So that would be something I'd work on anyway, just in myself. But certainly, yeah, I think that I would be quite open to that. But yeah, I've always been one who likes to get it done. I think that is displayed quite perfectly in my evolution of my channel, you know, from, you know, as I've talked about in the past, doing all these different effects and stuff from back when I first started, you know, it's, I think it is displayed quite nicely, and that's kind of what I went for. I wanted that to be displayed quite clearly in my channel, you know, and what I was doing. But anyway, I've rambled enough on that, so I bet everyone's put silence is golden. Oh, please put silence is golden. Oh, no one's put silence is golden. That was a perfect opportunity. Oh, come on. This is terrible. I'm not happy. I am not happy. Well, I'm smiling, but I'm not happy. Come on, we need more, what's the word? Proactiveness, or if that's a word. We need more people who are proactive in the chat. Come on, silence is golden. We needed that. Christmas #1 next year, taking bets now. Brilliant. Oh, Nick's in the chat. Hi there, Nick. Right, I'm just going to go up because I missed omnisexual robot porn star from the future. Brilliant. Question, please show us your smile on robot mode. I would say it's something like that, you know? And I'm just doing the work. I can do this all day. We can stay here for like 4 hours if you want. I can do this, you know? But anyway, it's not a challenge. It's not a challenge. See, this is my other frustration. I am so competitive. No one has said, right, just stand like this, doing this for 4 hours, right? But automatically, I think in my own brain, actually, wouldn't it be kind of cool if I just stood here and did this for 4 hours? Because everyone would be like, whoa, he did that for 4 hours. That's awesome. I'm kind of like, well, I'm not kind of like this guy, because he's awesome. Like, he's way better at these challenges than me. Way, way better. But that, you know, that Mr. Beast guy on YouTube who's come up, like, more recently, like, he's got more popular more recently, where he does these, like, 24 hours underwater, or 24 hours doing this, or 24 hours doing that, or whatever. He's pretty awesome. That's kind of like I am, but just lower, like, a lot lower scale. But I like just doing those, like, weird challenges. Like, they're pretty hard challenges, but just I like doing them. They're pretty cool, like. And he's taken it to a proper insane level on his YouTube channel. Like, if you want to watch some of the challenges he does, just like search Mr. Beast on YouTube. He's done loads of different ones. Some of them, like, he says he like hypes them up to be worth more than they are. Like, when I know this is probably me just thinking, you know, too far forward, but the 24 hours underwater one, I was thinking he was like just like gonna be underwater for 24 hours, but basically it's him in like a, and I know it's impossible to stay underwater for 24 hours without dying anyway, but you know, unless you've got some breathing apparatus. But I was weirdly enough, I was thinking, how's he gonna do this? You know, I want to see him underwater properly for 24 hours, but he had like this tank on or whatever. He was like inside this, it was kind of like a bath or something that turned upside down and put underwater. And I was like, oh, but that's kind of like false advertising. I wanted to see him like underwater for 24 hours holding his breath. But I know it's like physically impossible anyway. But yeah, so, but he is pretty cool. Some of them are a bit clickbaity. Some of the videos are a bit clickbaity, but most of them are pretty good, you know. Like, there's one that he says like 100 dinosaurs walking into supermarkets or something. And then he has like 20 dinosaurs, and it's not even like 100. And when I say dinosaurs, I mean like people dressed up in dinosaur outfits. The videos are very kind of my age focused, or maybe even a bit younger, like, you know, sort of that demographic, maybe like 12 to 18 or something. That's, yeah, a bit younger than me then. But it's kind of that sort of demographic. So, you know, most of the people watching me, I'm well aware, are 30s, 40s, 50s. So, obviously you guys might not particularly like that much, but you know, it might be worth just checking it out, see what it's like. So, I don't know why I've got so many people who are older than me watching me. I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? But I did check my demographics like ages ago, and it did say that most of my audience is like between like 30 and... Well, there's a lot between like 30 and 40, and then there's quite a few between 40 and 50 as well. So I don't know, it's weird. It's odd, isn't it? So that's where you are, Andrea. Brilliant. Unsub for the lack of knowledge about Skynet. No, don't you do that. I've just hit 2,900. Don't let me get below that again. Damn it. Right then, where are we in the chat here? I think, yeah, I've gone up way too far, so I'll go back down again. So is Ads a robot? No, I'm not. No, I'm not explaining it again. Just go back to the start of the video. I've explained it like twice. What little animated Adam is popping it? No, I don't mean like that. You know, I don't mean like that. I just mean a little, you know, a version of me. I don't mean little Adam down there. I mean, you know, little, you know, a little. Yeah, okay, I'll stop. Yeah. I hope Ads animated Adam doesn't pop up at the wrong time. I really stepped into it with that one, didn't I? Bloody hell. I think it's a common tendency in us resellers to want to make all the decisions without relying on others in our work. Yeah, it is a lot of resellers like that. I think with competitive nature, I think that just wanting to do everything yourself and be like a lone wolf or a you know, like one sort. What's the other phrase? There's another phrase, isn't there? Like I said it before, one-man band and stuff like that. I think it does, you know, and you want to, it's kind of like you want to take on the world by yourself in one respect, you know, like you see, you know, you want to show the world what you can do, and you want to be someone, and you want to get out there, and that does put an awful lot of pressure on yourself, because then you're starting to think, well, you know, do I really need to do this? Do I really want to do this? You know, and you've got to assess what you want to do, what you feel you need to do, because you've got that burning passion or desire to do it. And certainly, like over the last few months, I've been certainly conscious of that and thinking, right, what do I want to do, and what do I feel I need to do, and what do I feel I need to do but actually don't need to do, or what do I feel I want to do and I don't particularly actually want to do it when I dig right down. So there's certain things that I thought I wanted to do that I don't think I particularly want to do that much. And then there's certain things that I didn't even think I wanted to do, and now I feel like I have a burning desire to strive to do those things. So, and all it really takes is a little bit of digging down and thinking to yourself, like, what do I really want to do, or what do I really feel I need to do in this life? Before I'm out, you know, before I check out, kind of thing. And once you start to say that and you mull it over for quite a long time, you know, a few days, a few weeks, and you really start to dig deeper and deeper, you start to realise, like, well, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do the other, and that's it. And then you start to get some more clarity, because you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't actually, you know, I thought I needed to do X amount of things, but actually all I want to do is X amount of things, you know, or Y amount of things. So let's go with Y. So I thought I wanted to do X amount of things, but now I only want to do Y amount of things. So I'm slowly like narrowing down what I want to do, but there's still quite a lot I want to do. Like there's a lot of this in this bigger bubble that are just kind of based in a decision based in ego. So I just want to do it because I think it'd be cool because everyone else would want me to do it or whatever. And then there's the actual truth, you know, the things that I truly want to do just because I think they're fun, or I want to be creative in a certain way, or I want to earn money in a certain way, or whatever it may be. There's these things that are now here, but there's still a lot of these things, you know, there's still a lot of things that I'm truly passionate about. There's still a lot of things I mean, I want to do more songs, I want to do better editing on YouTube, I want to do YouTube more, I want to do reselling, I want to see, you know, I want to buy a lot more antiques and explore so many different more antiques that I can from the auctions. And you know, I want to try and do like some sort of you know, exercise challenges and stuff, and fitness challenges. I've got a lot of passion for exercise and things like that. Not necessarily you know, the weightlifting. So I used to do the weightlifting, but I don't do it anymore. Like I wasn't big or anything, but you know, I don't do the weightlifting anymore. But just like exercise, things relating to exercise and stuff like that. And oh, what was a few other things? Like I wanted to do, well, the animation is one, but I don't really, I think that's more on the X kind of thing rather than the Y. It's kind of in the middle. Let's say we've got a Venn diagram, right? You know, it laps over there. Like animations, like in the middle. It's kind of like, yeah, do I kind of want to do it just for everyone else, or do I want to do it for myself? It's like, you know, in the middle. What else do I want to do? There's quite a few things. But you know, like when you think there's like all of what you want to do, you start thinking like, well, like there's still a lot there, and I'm struggling for what I want to do, even with the stuff that I want to do, because there's still so much there. Like I'm struggling of even like projecting what I want to do to you guys, because there's still so much that I want to do. Like, oh, the other thing is, I would genuinely like to have a shop at some point. You know, I've been back and forth on that of like, whether it's an ego thing to have a shop, like just I want to do it because everyone would think it's amazing if I had a shop, or whether I genuinely want to do it. I do think that I genuinely want to have a shop, but the ego side of it comes in when I express my desire to have, for example, oh, I want a sex shop, and I want a kid shop, and I want a jungle, and I want X, and I want X. Genuinely, I think I do want a shop, but the more of the shop that I want is more of a very, very small curiosity style shop, where there's like, you know, it's like an Aladdin's cave kind of shop. So if we assess going below the ego in one sense, or dipping down, you know, deeper into myself, the want and the actual, even a burning desire in one respect, is to have that style shop rather than the ego, the inflated vision of that style shop. You know, so some things you can still actually want, but you just want them in a different way than you thought you wanted them, you know, in the beginning, once you dig down a little bit deeper. So yeah, it's quite complex, but when you look at it and when you can kind of assess in this way what your true wants are, you can really start to live in the way you want to live, you know, and you want your life to be mapped out, and how you want to move forward, because that's what it's all about. It's about you doing the things that you want to do, as long as they're in, you know, as long as they are morally right things, you know, as long as they're good things, as long as you're not hurting people or anything like that. If they're morally right things and you enjoy doing them and they bring joy to other people, then brilliant, then focus on that, do that, and that's going to make you happy, you know. But it's kind of like just digging down a little bit further in order to assess what you want in life, you know. Anyway, everyone, I bet we're going to see a load of silence is golden in the chat now. Oh, come on, please, please, please. No, oh, for God's sake. Oh, no, I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this, because, look, literally, like, everyone is not saying silence is golden. Maybe I'm not rambling. Maybe I'm not rambling. I don't know. Right, let me go up. Let me go up. Well, we've got Adrian in the chat. Hi there, Adrian. I hear you've been shouting out a lot of channels. I know Steve Green's got a load more subscribers, so good work there, Adrian. Got to go and list some things. Take care, robot ads. Ads without a good ramble just ain't ads. So is that what it is? Are people not saying silence is golden because you want me to ramble? Maybe that's it. I don't know. Well, whatever you want. I don't mind. I'm not sure I'd be thinking awesome. What do you mean? Who said awesome? But I come here for the crazy rants. If we put silence is golden and ads is on the rant, will he read the chat? No, I probably won't. But when I do read it, I'll see silence is golden. Your mental age, right? I know. Oh, do you want to know my mental age? Or is that like in reference to something I said earlier on? I don't know. But I would say my mental age is a cross between, I'd say like 14, like mental age like 14 at some times, and then other times it's like 48. I'd say like sometimes 14, sometimes 48, and then sometimes, very, very rarely my own age, very, very rarely my own age, but sometimes I'm 46, sometimes I'm 14, and it just kind of keeps flipping between 46 and 40, or 46 and 14, so I'm like, sometimes I'm 14, sometimes I'm 46, you know, when I'm being very, erratic and just being very stupid or wacky, I suppose I'm 14. And then when I'm being a little bit more, like a minute ago when I was saying about the life thing and, you know, about assessing what you want and all this, I'm more 46 in that moment, you know, but there's still a hint of 14 in there, you know, there's still still a little bit, oh, you know, that's still a bit 14ish kind of thing. But, you know, it's a bit one or the other. You just keep flicking between them, you know. I think that's like a lot of people, you know, no matter what your age, you're always going to have a sense of sometimes being a little bit of a child, you know, being a bit childish. And one of my favourite quotes is from the Fourth Doctor. Oh, God, I forgot it now. What's the point in being an adult if you can't be childish sometimes? And that's from, I think it was Robot. I think it was the episode Robot. So I love that quote. And it always sticks with me because I'm like, it doesn't matter how old you are. You know, it's nice to be a bit of a child sometimes. It's nice to have a little bit of that just freedom of being a child. You know, like when you look at a child, they are completely free, especially like young children, you know, between like anywhere from about 3 and 7, I would say, younger than 3 as well. But when, you know, they can talk and stuff, I'm thinking, you know, like between like 2, 3 and 7, that's like that complete freedom. They're just so free. Of course, the ultimate level of freedom, I suppose, would be a baby, because they're just completely free. They just do what they're gonna do. They just literally do what they're gonna do. Like they need to go to the toilet, they go to the toilet. They need to do this, they need to do that. They just do it, you know, and they're completely free. They're not bound by adult things of, you know, of how we should do things or how we should be perceived by other people or anything like that. They just do what they need to do, you know, and they're completely free. And children are the same. When they're playing, they're just completely free, and they're happy in what they're doing. They're happy in playing with a certain toy, or happy with playing with a certain person, or whatever it may be. And they just live to do whatever they're doing. And essentially that's quite nice when you can go back to that a little bit. And then obviously you have to snap back into being an adult and being responsible for a large portion of the time, but it's nice to snap, you know, back a little bit, because I think a lot of people, that's where a lot of the stress comes from in life, like when they're constantly trying to uphold this responsibility and this adulthood, like I'm big, I'm bold, I've got to, you know, I've got to uphold this image for loads of other people, and you get a lot of stress and tension. And then if you can snap back to being a child, whether it be at night, whether it be wherever it may be, whenever it may be, if you snap back, you don't have to uphold that anymore. You can let go. You can just like, it just all flows out of you, and you're just like, I can be free, you know, I can dance, I can groove, I can do what I want. I can just be free and be happy and playful. And now I'm really starting to sound like a hippie, aren't I? But anyway, whoever wants to be a hippie, it's fine to be a hippie, so, you know. But yeah, is that politically correct, hippie? I don't know, but if it isn't, I apologise, but, you know, what am I meant to say, like free spirit or something? I don't know. Anyway, right, so we've got Tap Peddler BCP, we've got Do It Yourself Lifestyle, Ryan in the chat. Hi there, Ryan. Where are we? Oh god, we're 45 minutes in now. Wow, it's crazy, goes quick. Greetings all. Is it me, or has sound been turned off? I can't hear a thing. Oh, is it? I would imagine the sound's turned on, because the mic's on here and no one in the chat has told me it's turned off, so I'm guessing it's okay. Have you got, maybe you need, well, first off, try and refresh your page. Second off, have you got the, you know, on the little sound thing, I know this is very, what's the word, probably a bit patronising, but have you got the little sound thing? Does it have a little X through it? Because if it has a little X through it, then you need to click that. I know you probably already checked that. What else could you do? Have you got your sound turned on your computer? So, you know, bottom right hand corner, the little sound bar. And then the only other thing is in your sound mixer. So if you go down to the bottom of the computer screen, click the little sound icon, click mixer, and sometimes what it does, and I've had this a couple of times before, where like a certain tab on Google Chrome will be like muted or whatever for whatever reason. Sometimes it just happens, and then you just need to unmute it or just put the sound right up in the mixer, and then it should work. The only other thing I could think is it is something at my end, but because so many people have said not said they can hear it, but I'm assuming they can hear it because they've not said they can't. I'm assuming it isn't my end. So yeah, I don't know. There are like 3 or 4 options you could do. Oh yeah, Bad Biscuit says the sound is fine, Adrian. Oh good, cool. Sound is fine. Cool. Right, that's okay then. Right. Here we go. Question. Is a lady of the age of 40 too old for you? What's your age range for a wife currently? My age range for a wife is very, very limited. It's 21 to 23, I would say. I know that sounds really weird, but my age range for like going out, I just don't like this realm, you know. I feel like 26, 27 or 25 or whatever, it's a bit old. Like, I mean, it's not old. No, I'm digging myself a hole already here. It's not old. I don't mean it's old, but I mean, you know, like, they've had an extra 4 or 5 years on me, and I don't know whether the conversation would, you know, like, I imagine when I'm with a person, we can have a chat about some of the old kids' TV shows and how it was back in the day. And, you know, when we get older and older, you know, we're in our 40s, we're in our 50s, we're in our 60s, we can look back on those kids' TV shows. We can look back on, you know, all the how it was in politics or how it was in whatever, you know, in just general life back in our time, you know, in terms of the early 2000s or whatever, as, you know, we can communicate about that more. But when you get like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years out, it starts to be harder for that just general level of generational communication in one way to appear naturally. So, and that generational communication, you know, being in the same generation, well, we are in the same generation because generation with, well, I'd be Generation Z, sorry, because I'm just in Generation Z. They'd be in the millennial generation, so it wouldn't be the same generation. But what I'm saying, just for ease of communication, is we are basically in the same generation. But it just, that same generation communication is very, very important. I don't think people hold it in too much high regard. Being able, when you're in your 40s, to communicate with someone who's your same age as you, or very, very similar age to you, and has been with you for 20 or 30 years, and just being able to communicate about the TV shows that were around 20 or 30 years ago, this, that, and the other that were around 20, 30 years ago, and being able to know that you were both there experiencing it, even if you weren't together at the time, that's powerful. The way relationships fall down, this is just my opinion, but the way relationships fall down in terms of an age gap is perfectly, I really do feel a lot of it is down to the generational communication. Someone who's 20, if they go out with someone who's 40, someone who's 40 will be like, they'll just casually spring up in conversation, oh, do you remember, I don't know, what was on in the 80s, like Tiz Was or something, or is that 70s? I don't know, like, you know, do you remember Tiz Was? Do you remember Saturday Night Live? Or do you remember this? And it was like, oh, do you remember when X person did this sketch on da-da-da-da? And although they might be able to say yes, they won't be able to say, I experienced it at the time. And that is very, very, there's a friction that's caused there. Only a minute, very, very minute friction, but built up over a lot of time and a lot of instances. That 40-year-old is going to be thinking, oh, well, I'm a little bit deflated because, you know, I want to share my life with someone who was there and who experienced that. And I can't connect you as emotionally or as on a pop culture level as I would like to. And, you know, okay, that is only one side to it. Pop culture and all the rest of it isn't going to be the demise of a relationship completely, but I do think it impacts a relationship more than a lot of people think, honestly. The amount of times my mum and dad make reference to each other about shows that when they were younger were on, it's every bloody day, you know? And if they couldn't do that, and they didn't have both the same experiences, there would be friction, there would be a small little bit of friction there. It'd only be very small, but it'd build up over time and time and time, and it'd just feel like you're a little bit disconnected from each other, and then it'd start to feel more disconnected, more disconnected, more disconnected. Now, would I mind going out with an older woman or an older man or whatever? I wouldn't mind going out with an older person. You know, I don't mind. My mental age is, at this point, I'm bloody like 150, but let's think of it realistically. Right? My mental age is probably about 46 right now, right? And did I say 46 before? 44? Well, about 46, right? So, if I've got a mental age of 46, and I can kind of, I do have a good, I'm quite well versed in pop culture, especially from the 60s, 70s and 80s, so I'm not too bad on that. So, I think it would work okay with me because of the type of person I am, and because of how, not necessarily mature, I'm not necessarily mature for my age, but because of how I suppose it's a mental thing. Like, I'm quite mentally forward. Like, it's like I'm 46 now, even though I'm not 46. So in that respect, I feel like it would work okay with me. But there probably would still be friction. There would probably be things that that person wouldn't particularly find as attractive, maybe because of my age, maybe because of a pop culture thing, maybe because of whatever it may be. But I think it would work okay with me. If you were to ask me, you know, someone down the street who's the same age as me, as a guy, 22, would it work with them and a 46-year-old? I would categorically say no, because they're still going out clubbing, thinking that downing bloody vodka shots is the best thing in the world, and they think that, oh yeah, this is brilliant, you know, we're going to be young forever, it's going to be brilliant, you know? So, yeah, it wouldn't work with one of those people. No, well, I say one of those people. I don't mean one of those people. I just mean it wouldn't work with a 22-year-old who is trying to act like a 22-year-old. It would work more efficiently with a 22-year-old who is trying to be a 46-year-old, or he's already in that kind of mental headspace of a 46-year-old, just without having the experience behind me to back it up. And that's why I can't wait to get to 46, because when I get to 46, I'll have the mental age of like a 70-year-old, and I'll also have the experience of a 46-year-old. So I'll be like, whoa, you know? In one respect, I can't wait to be 46. In another respect, it does scare me a little bit, because I'm like, oh God, well, I'm going to be not the older generation, but I'm going to be the middle-aged generation then. And then that does scare me. Not because I'll be middle-aged. That's not why it scares me. It scares me because I'm thinking, oh my God, at some point in the next 20 years, I'm probably going to be a grandfather, or I'm going to get to that grandfather age, and I'm going to have to actually dispense some, some good knowledge here. And I don't know any knowledge. I'm just making it up as I go along. Like, I don't, like, I reckon the old people now, they have knowledge, but they just talk and dispense what they can do based on the knowledge that they got from their grandparents. So it's kind of like just this trickle down over hundreds of years of just people blabbing their way through life when they get to being old. And when I get to being old, I'm just going to say what my grandparents said to me, to my grandkids, because I won't have a clue. I don't have a clue. I think all this thing of, older people being like incredibly wise, in part it's true because of their experience and everything, but also I think that a lot of it is just like them telling the grandkids what their grandparents told them, because they don't really have much else to say, or any pearls of incredible wisdom. They may have one or two, but I just really do believe that. But then again, when I get to 70, I might have a lot of pearls of wisdom. So I don't know, it's interesting, and that's why I can't wait, because it's like, it's the experience, it's like that incredible sense of, ooh, what's it going to be like? How's it going to be? What am I going to feel like? Am I going to be as energetic? Am I going to be quite, mellowed out? Am I going to be pretty cool when I'm older? Am I going to be married? Am I not going to be married? Am I going to have kids? Am I going to have grandkids? What am I going to do with my life? Am I going to play poker? Or am I going to do this? Am I going to sit on a rocking chair next to my best friend and just rock on the rocking chair all day, every day? Am I going to eat toast? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? It's so exciting, and people don't get it, we don't get the excitement of just that, of just thinking, when I'm older, how am I going to be? I get a lot of excitement out of just thinking that, when I'm X age, how am I going to be? When I'm X age, how am I going to be? And I'm trying to strategize, right, I want to be this, so I'm going to try and, curve my way into that kind of, that kind of wavelength, or that kind of level of a person, and then I'm gonna manifest my own creation in one respect. And what I see currently, as I mentioned a couple of weeks back, is just a guy in his 70s, just dressed in robes and like a big staff, walking around. So that's what I'm currently thinking of. That's what I'm currently my wavelength. That's what I want to do. But because it's just cool, isn't it? Walking around in a staff. And then just saying to like young people, just like freaking young people out. That's so funny. Like they'll be looking at me like, oh my god, he was born in the 20th century, and they're all like, you know, it's like 2070, and they're born like 2050 or 2055 or whatever. He was born in the 20th century, and then just walking around with staff like staring these little kids out. Oh my god, no! You know, that'd be anyway. I don't know what I do. I just say words, as George says. I just say words. Right, we'll leave it there for this one. It's been an hour. Silence is golden. We got one. Yeah, we got two. Brilliant. Yeah, it works. See, it works. I was bang on, man. Like, I was bang on. Lex said it in the chat, like, 10 seconds before I saw it. So I was bang on. It works. Silence is a dream I feel may never come true. Brilliant. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, the problem with me is, well, it's not a problem, but the thing is with me, right, the hang-up or whatever you want to call it, is I'm not silent enough of the time. That's my problem. I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and that can be a frustrating thing, you know. That can be an annoying thing inside yourself, you know, when you're not silent all the time. And it's quite ironic that I'm having to express that in words, you know, the fact that actually I should be silent. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, thank you very much for people putting silence is golden. You know what, I should entitle this video Silence is Golden. I might do that in a minute after I've come off. 59 minutes. Right, I'm gonna get off in a sec. Right, I'll just quickly go up the chat. I won't answer any more questions, so I apologise about that, but I'm just seeing if there's any other little bits. Add, this entire argument discounts a younger woman, but not an older one. Add, this entire argument discounts a younger woman, but not an older one. What do you mean? Do you mean I was like saying that I wouldn't like a young woman, but I would like an old? Yeah, I suppose I was saying that, wasn't I? I don't mean that. I'm just saying that I would, if I were to go out with an older woman, I, as a 22-year-old, would be a good candidate for that, opposed to most of the other 22-year-old men, you know, just because of my level of thinking, I suppose, and just because of, I don't know, just, I don't want to say my intellect, because I don't think it's just my intellect. I think it's more just all I am, my experience, my, yeah, just generally, just all I am. Just generally all I am. I can't even think, to be honest, what it is, but it's a combination of everything. Not applying for a vacancy, by the way. Don't worry, I wasn't thinking like that, for God's sake. Watch it, add, there are a lot of us old days in the chat. No, I don't consider anything less than, like, what? I mean, these days, it's like 65 is old, really. Like, anything above 65. Because generally people are living a lot longer. Like, I mean, my great-grandma got to 96. That was incredible, you know. And, like, my grandparents are all, well, all of them are late 70s now. So, you know, people live longer. So you can't really say that, you know, 40 is old anymore. And I don't consider 40 old, you know. I don't really even consider 50 old. Like, I know I've made things in the past where I would do sections of, like, you're middle-aged, you're old, you're young, but I don't know. I think that it can be cut off like that. I think if you really want to, you can cut it off to a certain age bracket. But really, with what I've seen with my grandparents, and with what I've seen, like, with my grandparents getting older, and what I've seen with my mum and dad getting older, like, I remember when my grandparents were like 60, and they were fit at 60. You know, they were. I don't mean fit in that way. You know what I mean? They were physically fit at 60, right? So you can't really say that's particularly old anymore. You know, my grandma was talking to me a few weeks back. She comes around every Friday, and she was saying about, you know, when I was 60, I was feeling pretty physically fit. You know, I could do quite a lot. So, you know, I think really 65 these days is classed as kind of old. Yeah, you do have this weird period between middle age and old, because, you know, if you're 50, how many 100-year-olds do you realistically know? I've made that, you know, made that kind of, made that analogy or whatever it's even called before. And then you also have this horrible period, which I don't like, between 30 and about 45, where you think you know a lot, you know, you think you're really all experienced and stuff, and you think, oh yeah, you know, I'm quite old now, I know what I'm talking about and everything, but really that's the falsified version of being old, and that's just coming into middle age. You know, I love it when, like, someone is, so I've said this to quite a few people, I love it when someone who's 40, they reach 40, and they think automatically, oh, I'm 40 now, so I'm like really wise, I'm like really old and experienced and powerful. And we get to 40 and they're like really cocky, like walking around telling everyone, you know, how it is, and they act about 70. But it's just their ego being overinflated because they've reached 40 and we think they're old and we think we're all this now. It doesn't happen with everyone, but it does happen with a lot of people. I'm certainly going to relish it when it happens to me. So when I get to 40, everyone, if you're still watching, I am going to be so egotistical and so, like, you know, out there and stuff that people are going to want to tune off straight away. So just bear in mind, I'm not letting it happen to me. I'm going to get involved in all that when I'm 40, because I'll be thinking, oh yeah, I'm big, I'm old and wise now, so I can say what I want and do what I want and all the rest of it and tell people how it is and stuff. So you just wait for that. You know, it's kind of like a midlife, yeah, it's like a midlife crisis. That's what it is, isn't it? But yeah, maybe not a midlife crisis, because it's not quite what it is, but yeah, no, it isn't really a midlife crisis, is it? But yeah, anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll leave it for this one. It's been a very good episode, this one, hasn't it? We've had a lot of, we've had some knowledge bombs, we've had some random chat, we've had a little tiny bit of reselling chat. Probably could have done with a little bit more reselling chat, to be honest. We've had quite a lot. We've had a bit of fun today. So yeah, anyway, I will leave it. In the words of Master Yoda, golden is silences. Oh, brilliant. Right, okay, I'll have to look up the chat before I'm gone, because this is quite incredible. Right, I'll leave it, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you in the next one, which will be tomorrow night at 7. I've got another vlog coming out tomorrow night at 7. And I've got an auction haul overview thing coming on Sunday at 7 as well. So be sure to stick around for 7 o'clock on Friday and Sunday. So yeah, they're the next 2 videos. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Have a good afternoon. Get plenty of listing done. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. See you soon, guys.